experimental economics that the way data is collected with a purpose in mind rather than just, collecting the data like a census bureau collects the data or a survey is being collected, because we treat the data, okay? We affect what individuals are subjected to in terms of their treatment. Economics is very much also about, aggregate outcomes. And some of the criticism we tend to hear about experiments often is that, how much of this goes at the aggregate level. I mean, what are the general equilibrium implications?
What we learn precisely from learning on these experiments and surveys is precisely that, in particular in people forecast, there is a lot of autocorrelation in the data, things which just have to do with these positive and negative feedback effects that I was saying. So that means that then it's mistakes of a lot of people tend to aggregate in a particular way. And that's something that we learn. Use the lab to study feedback mechanisms, not to validate models. To understand basic mechanisms, that's very important. And that's where the comparative advantage is.
The field versus the lab should not be a war, but should be a cooperation. There's two different ways of doing things. Sometimes one thing is the better, sometimes the other. So, let's cooperate, but let's not just try to drive others out. Whether experts do better than students or different than students is an empirical question. And I think this is really like a message, right? It is a very natural objection, but we have to check it out, whether it's true.
We have to do experiments because we have to think what the others are thinking. If you just do fixed point calculation, you don't think what the others are thinking. You just do math, which you do actually in high school in grade 8. You who do models and modeling, this is really what economists are best in. They know how to model complex situation in a stylized way. And I think no other social science or natural science can do that. And you even figure out mathematically, in a stylized way, things like equilibrium, rationality, and efficiency. We have to create institutions and mechanisms with a human touch. That's also important.
I wanted to say a couple of words about ethics in economics. At the European Economic Association was set up a committee last year to report on practices among economists in Europe in several dimensions: data collection, data management, ethical issues for randomized controlled trials, ethics for lab experiments. This is something new for us economists relative to the natural sciences, and we need to start thinking about this seriously.
Let's just thank the four speakers for the roundtable. Thank you very much.